Hey guys, this is Blue Forest. So we are going to take a look at Bonecrusher today in this week's showcase. So I have recorded some gameplay of that, but I just wanted to mention a couple of things. First of all, there have been issues with people claiming the monthly achievement for buying either Bonecrusher or Hot Rod, the featured bots right now, particularly as a 5-star. Some people have, spent their million bot chips and then did not get the 5-star SIGs and the other rewards for doing so. I bought Bonecrusher a couple days ago. It was fine, but I've heard from people as recently as yesterday that it's still an ongoing issue. So if I were you, if you're going to buy one of these two bots this week, that's totally fine, but I would encourage you to take a screenshot of your bot chips before and after, just in case you don't get the monthly achievement, and then you can email Kabam with evidence in order to get those bot chips back. Because the only thing that Pinwheel has said is that they would refund players, but it does not seem to have happened yet. So just in case you have a problem claiming any monthly achievement, if you're going to buy Bonecrusher or Hot Rod, do collect evidence for yourself. And then the other thing I wanted to mention before we do the showcase is that we have this new Cinematic Gauntlet. This is actually very exciting because it looks very similar to the Decepticon Gauntlet that we had some months ago. If you did that, it was also a 1-week event. It had a similar layout. You have 3 chapters here, 6 levels for each chapter, and they get progressively more difficult. But the really great thing about that gauntlet was that you would get these Decepticon chips that would allow you to buy a bunch of 5-star dupes or, new Decepticons. So if this is even remotely similar in terms of the rewards, you'll be able to get, a handful of these cinematic bots that are being featured right now. So I would highly encourage you to run through this. I will probably start on it tomorrow, and I should be able to record some gameplay of it. And even if you can't complete it all, because the last few levels will be pretty tough, you should be able to get through some of it and be able to claim, a decent amount of these cinematic chips. So this is an event you are not going to want to miss. So with that said, let's go ahead and jump into the Bonecrusher Showcase and we'll talk about him. All right, so we're going to take a look at Bonecrusher here. As I said in the Hot Rod Showcase, these showcase missions are not the best way to test out bots because these missions are very short and they're pretty easy, but it's still a nice way to get a feel for the bot if you haven't played with it much. And I am a fan of Bonecrusher. I have said that before. I think he is severely underused, one of the least used warriors, but he does have some really nice things going for him. His bleeds are incredibly strong and consistent because he bleeds with so many of his different attacks. And then he also has a few other lesser known things that actually work to his advantage. I mean, for one, he has this heavy that I just did that kind of comes out of nowhere. It often really will tag the opponent when you might not expect it to. And he also has some nice reach advantage with those claws of his. He can make contact at a further distance than you might expect. And the thing is, his kit is very simple and it is largely tied to his bleeds because he bleeds very consistently with the special 1 and 2. He's got an incredibly long bleed with the special 3, even though it doesn't activate with the special 3 100% of the time. He can bleed on his heavy. And of course, he has that defensive ability in the sense that he will land bleeds on the opponent when you're struck with melee crits. And so that can help you out. Because everybody gets hit sometimes, and if you're using him, sometimes if the opponent hits you, they will end up taking more damage than you just because they start bleeding. So he's just very reliable and very fun. And also, we're going to be able to take a look at this right now with Barricade. He does have some anti-evade that a lot of people don't even know about. It's not the strongest anti-evade in the world, but it does actually work. So actually Barricade's a very good bot to test him out against because obviously Barricade evades like crazy when you knock him down. So right now I'm intentionally not knocking him down because he just gets a lot more annoying. But if you can avoid that, it just makes it a much easier fight. And just like that, Barricade is down. So Bonecrusher is, like I said, he's a very good bot. He's solid. And his anti-evade basically is also tied to his bleeds. So when you land bleeds on the opponent, that will trigger 25% fewer evades per stack of bleed. And if you can land a few stacks of bleed, which you often will, that can be very helpful against some of those, really pesky, irritating scouts that evade all the time. So Bonecrusher's base damage is not amazing. It's not going to be as strong as a few of the other warriors, but again, his bleeds, they do add up. They're incredibly consistent. He's also a fantastic bot to use with the Deep Wounds Mastery. So anyway, I just wanted to showcase that for you a little bit, and also just remind you, do this Cinematic Gauntlet. Believe me, it will be worth your time, even if the rewards are not quite as good as they were for the Decepticons Gauntlet. I'm sure this is going to be a great event. It only lasts for a week. You don't have to complete every level in order to get good rewards. So I hope this has been helpful. Do take care of yourselves, and we'll speak again soon.